It is finally time to bring this sign to life with finish and hardware. Hopefully you've been watching all of the other episodes in this series. If not, check out the links above. To begin the finishing process, I unfolded my tough-built portable sawhorses and brought the sign outside and started sanding it down with 60 grit paper. Apparently I also scared a silverfish out of the slab, but that's not why I'm here today. Today, I'm here making this video to show you a simple 4-step process for getting a finish that is durable, long-lasting, and waterproof. Stay tuned. So before I get into these steps, please hit that subscribe button. It always helps out the channel. Okay, let's get to it. First step in this process is sanding, and you want to begin with the low grit paper. I'm using 60 grit. This is your opportunity to sand everything smooth. So any rough surfaces, make sure you sand it really hard with that 60 grit paper. You can also use your hands to sand, hand sand. Once you've done that, you can close up your tough-built sawhorses and go back inside, because the rest of the sanding will be using a vacuum. Before I continue on with the finishing process, let's take a quick break to learn something else useful. Installing hardware for this sign so that it can hang freely has never been easier. All you need to do is figure out where you want to mount the hardware, make some sort of mark so that you can double check it with the other side of the sign. I imagine this sign hanging on an arm with chains, and chains hooked to these eye bolts. Once you decide where you want those eye bolts to be attached, find a drill bit that's just a little bit smaller than the eye bolts, and then pre-drill. It's that simple. And then after that, you can screw the eye bolts into those pre-drilled holes. Quite simple. And if your hands get tired and you don't want to get tendonitis or arthritis, then you can use this little trick. Use a tire rod in the eye of the eye bolt to screw the eye bolt. Leverage is everything in this life. And then you can use some hooks between the chains, and like that, you have a hanging sign. Just like they have in the Western movies, hanging on an arm of a building. Sign. And if that didn't make sense, maybe you'll be able to visualize it just a bit better now. See? It's a nice hanging sign. Two-sided sign. With chains, eye hooks, and avocado wood. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But unfortunately, the family that I gave this sign to didn't end up using those chains or eye bolts to hang the sign, and they just hung it on a wall one-sided. I'm pretty sure they drilled some screws or bolts or something through the sign, which is kind of sad, but whatever. But nevertheless, this is a useful thing for me to know and for you to know. So take it or leave it. Let's get back to the finishing process. The second step in this process is to dust it. Get rid of all of the dust. You can either use an air compressor and blow it off like I'm doing, or you can use a vacuum, or you could use a microfiber towel, or you can do all three of these, and you'll get rid of all of the dust. Get rid of the dust. Second step. Get rid of the dust. Third step is to begin applying your finish, which in this case I'm going to be using an oil-based polyurethane from Minwax, and it's the clear satin. But don't be fooled. This method of finishing will work for other finish types. So for the sake of simplicity, we'll call step number 3 coated. Usually the first coat is the one that will accept the most amount of finish. So don't be scared to be very liberal with the amount of finish that you use. You want to clog or seal up every single grain of wood with the oil finish. And so apply a lot of finish on that first coat. You will be surprised the different amount of oil that you apply in this first coat versus, say, the 4th or 5th coat. Which, yes, to get a better finish, you need to do multiple coats, which you'll see me do. I will do multiple coats, but I will be using the 4-step process every step, or every coat. You don't necessarily have to use a foam brush like the one that I am using. You could use a normal bristle brush, which is actually a very good way to apply polyurethane. When you're painting those edges, make sure to brush your drips, or else you'll end up having dried drips, which dried drips are not great. But we all have a few dried drips every once in a while, so don't beat yourself up if you do have some dried drips. You can sand them out in the next coat. process using the 4 steps, which right now we are on the 3rd step, which is coat it, coat it, coat it, coat it. It's probably going to end up looking somewhat blotchy like it does like right now that you can see, but you don't need to worry about that because this is just the first coat and the 3rd step in the first coat. If you remember the first 2 steps, sand it, then you dust it, and then now you coat it. But remember, that first coat is probably going to be blotchy and it's going to take a lot of the oil or the polyurethane that you're using. So don't be concerned about it looking perfect right now. It doesn't need to look perfect. You're going to end up sanding it, dusting it, and coating it again several more times. But that leads us to the 4th step, which is heat it, heat it, heat it, heat it. And as you can tell, the 4th step is the easiest and the quickest of the 4 steps. And so let's go ahead and flip the sign over and go back to step number 3, coat it. Hopefully all of you folks out there watching this right now are finding this information to be useful and easy to understand. And if so, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon next to it so you stay notified when my channel releases new videos. It's a great way to help out. Since I had already sanded and dusted the other side, I was able to go straight to coating it with the first coat of polyurethane, but on the other side of the sign. And once again, you can see that it really is pulling in a lot of the oil. You can use a lot of the polyurethane. So much oil that I'm going to speed this up just a little bit faster so that we can get to the next step, which is again, heating it. And I didn't really explain my reasoning behind heating up the oil after you've applied it. And the reason is, it pops any air bubbles that might be within the finish after you applied it. And you don't want those air bubbles to dry as a bubble, or else you'll have to sand it out. So if you apply just a little bit of heat using something like a heat gun, which is what I use, or you could use a torch, then it will actually pop those air bubbles and help the finish warm up and drop deeper down into the grain. But be careful, if you get the heat gun or your torch too close to the finish, it can actually burn the finish, which is not good. You don't want that. So step number 4, heat it. So now that we've done all 4 steps to both sides of the sign, we're going to return to step number 1, which is sand it. And this is after the first coat has had 24 hours of time to dry. Now though, we will go from 60 grit to 120 grit paper, and when you start to sand it, you're going to notice that it's going to create a lot of white dust, which is actually a good sign. That means that your finish is being sanded and you're sanding the dried polyurethane. And then you're able to move on to the next step, which is dusting it, getting rid of all of that dust. You can use that air compressor, you can use a vacuum, you can use a microfiber towel, whatever means necessary to get rid of all of the dust before moving on to step number 3, which is coat it. This will be the second coat of oil, and you'll notice that the wood will not need as much of the oil as it did the first coat. And that's because the first coat has dried and sealed up much of the grain. So in this step, you don't need to be as liberal with the application of the polyurethane or whatever finish you're using, because it's not going to need as much. But still, you want to be sure to apply equally across all surfaces. This coat is going to look just a little bit better than the first coat. And let me tell you, the third coat is when things start to pop. This 4-step finishing process requires time. You need to let things dry at least 24 hours between each coat. After doing step number 3, coat it, you can move on to step number 4, heat it, and I used a heat gun. Just like that, we return to step number 1 for the other side of the sign. So I did step number 1, I sanded, and then I got rid of the dust, step number 2. And then I moved on to step number 3, which was coating it. Hopefully you're starting to get the idea that this process is pretty simple and it is very effective. Every coat you're adding an additional layer of oil that will protect the wood and seal up the grain to not allow any moisture to get in. Every time you go to sand the polyurethane finish that has dried, you're actually equalizing the finish and allowing the finish to be opened up for another coat. Maybe opened up is not the best way to describe it. Another way you could think about it is it's prepping the surface so that following coat of oil can properly adhere. And it will begin to look really nice. Okay, now we are on coat number 3, which is amazing because now you'll be able to start to see the finish begin to develop on the outside of the wood. You saw there that I just did step number 1, which was to sand it, and now I am dusting it, and then now I will be going on to step number 3, which is coat it. The wooden sign will now be able to accept even less of the polyurethane because we're on to that third coat, and the wood is actually pretty well sealed up at this point. So make sure your brush strokes are nice and smooth and that you don't use too much finish, or else it'll start to puddle and you'll get bubbles, and you don't want that. And then following the coat it, you're able to use that heat gun and do step number 4, which is heat it. We've done all 4 steps for the third coat on one side. Now let's flip it over and do the third coat on the other side. But first, I need to sand it. Oh, but I forgot to mention that when you move on to the next coat, you need to again move up to a higher grit of sandpaper. So right now I'm using 220 grit sandpaper. As you do additional coats, you should increase the level of your sandpaper so that you don't sand off all of the finish. You only want to sand the very top layer of the finish. And if you use a higher grit paper, it then begins smoother and smoother. So not only are you preparing that surface for the next coat, but you're also making the surface smoother. For the folks who are still watching, that is a very good tip to take home. Increase the grit of sandpaper every time you do an additional coat, or every time you go through that 4-step process. So hopefully now you understand how this process works, and it's really about doing those 4 steps multiple times. So really, if you were to do 5 coats, that would be 5 times 4, so it'd be like 20 steps, but that's not as catchy, you know? I can't catch your attention through the thumbnail that says 20 steps. It's too many steps. But 4 steps, that's pretty simple. 4 steps, 4-step finishing process. Take it or leave it, but it does work. Sand it, dust it, coat it, heat it. I think in the end I did 3 or 4 coats, but you can see here that the sign looks beautiful and it's super sealed up and will be very waterproof. As I had mentioned earlier on in the video, I did imagine the sign hanging on an arm, a wooden arm, and I ended up constructing a wooden arm for this. The family didn't end up using it, and now I actually use it to hang my hummingbird feeder in my yard, and it works perfectly. If you're interested in learning how I made this arm, this wooden arm, let me know in the comment section down below, and maybe I'll make a video about it. Alright, thanks for watching. Hopefully this 4-step finishing process will be useful for you woodworkers out there. As always, get in the shop, build something cool, and say hello in the comments. Thanks for watching. Sand it, dust it, coat it, heat it, repeat, repeat. Sand it, dust it, coat it, heat it.